So these are for Canadian ETFs to buy and hold forever, in my personal opinion. As always, this is not financial advice by any means. This is just my personal opinion and is strictly for educational and entertainment purposes only. The first Canadian ETF to buy and hold forever, in my personal opinion, is the Vanguard S&P 500 Index ETF, and the ticker symbol is VFE. VFE is an absolute classic in regards to an S&P index here in Canada. So it's pretty self-explanatory, but if you wanted to buy into the S&P 500 in the USA, but you wanted to do that through Canadian dollars or through the Canadian market, VFE is a tremendous option. Now, just kind of looking at some of the stats right here, so it has an MER or a management ratio of 0.09%, so not even that much. The 12-month yield in regards to distributions is also almost 1% at 0.97%. So truthfully speaking, it is actually pretty good. In regards to the performance here, as you guys can tell, let's find another view right here. So within 1 year, as you can tell, it has gone up quite a bit. If you want to go 3 years, 5 years, or since inception, the growth curve for the S&P 500 actually has been quite well. So the S&P 500, of course, is just the 500 top companies in the United States in regards to a portfolio. So basically, you're investing into a little bit of all of those by investing into this fund. So if we were to scroll down a little bit more, just in regards to some more information. So as you guys can tell, it is 100% full of United States stocks, which is why, of course, it is tracks the S&P 500 index. Now, if we want to go down to the top 10 holdings right here, you guys can see what sort of makes up VFV. So right now we have Nvidia, we have Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Meta, Broadcom, Alphabet, Tesla, and Berkshire Hathaway. If you want to go ahead and download the entire thing, you can go ahead and do that for yourself as well. At this moment in time, it is trading at $166.21 Canadian. You can go ahead and view some more historical prices as well, in case you guys are wondering about that. But yeah, VFE is a tremendous option if you want to invest into the United States and the top 500 companies that make up the S&P 500. So in regards to distributions or dividends, if it's an ETF, it is called a distribution. It offers a quarterly distribution at right around 0.92%. I think the current one it showed on the last one was about 0.97%. So you can kind of expect it to be in that range. So on top of appreciation in the stock price, you also get a quarterly dividend of about 1%. So that's pretty awesome as well. In regards to the dividend chart, as you guys can tell, the dividends actually have grown quite a bit since 2015. So, this is one of the best options as a Canadian investor to just buy and hold for the long term, as the U.S. stock market has done a tremendous job, historically speaking, of gaining value and appreciation and making a ton of money over time. One last thing as well is that, year to date, it is actually up 10.75%. If you want to show what it looks like, in the last 2 years, it's almost 60% in regards to growth. Last 5 years, about 105%, and all time it has grown 228% since inception in 2016. So tremendous growth with VFE. It is one of the best to set it and forget it in regards to a buy and hold forever. The next Canadian ETF to buy and hold forever, in my opinion, is the iShares Core Equity ETF, ticker symbol XEQT. So unlike VFE, which is strictly the United States, XEQT actually does have exposure to the entire world economy, as it actually does have some cash and some other ETFs inside of this ETF on more of a global scale. So as you guys can tell right here, XEQT in regards to the performance right here, so you can go ahead and sort of just check out the performances on a 1, 3, and 5 year basis if you want to go ahead and do that. You can also view some key facts as well and some portfolio characteristics. So you can go ahead and see the distribution yield, so sort of similar to VFE. It is about 1.02%. If you want to go ahead and view some other stuff as well in regards regards to the risk factor as well as the management fee. The management fee, or the MAR in this case, is 0.2%. The risk indicator is medium. That is fairly common for ETFs and stocks of this magnitude. Now, in regards to the top 10 holdings, it is also the same as all holdings, as it only does hold 7 things. So it holds about 27.8% of ITOT, or the iShares Core S&P Total US Stock Market. There's XIC, XEF, XTOT. So as you can tell, there's a bunch of different ETFs that make up this ETF, as well as holding some Canadian cash and some USD cash as well. If you want to check the exposure breakdowns just in regards to geography, as you can tell, 42%, the leading charge here is the United States. Canada makes up 25.47%. Then there's Japan, there's United Kingdom, France, Switzerland, Germany, etc. You can go ahead and show more as well, in case you guys are curious on how exactly this fund is made up. But overall, XEQT does a tremendous job at sort of investing into a bunch of different markets outside of the USA, which is why VFV is so valuable, because that's USA only, whereas XEQT is a bit more than that. So as mentioned, XEQT offers dividends or distributions on a quarterly basis, and the yield for this is actually about 1.86%, so that's a lot more than what was shown in the last one. Now, if you want to go ahead here and check the dividend chart, as you can tell, the dividends have sort of gone up for the most part, but they're projected to actually be down for the most part here, which is why I believe it said on the last one that it is about 1%, not as close to 1.86%, so a bit of an adjustment there. But yeah, for the most part, XEQT, just like VFV, has grown quite a bit in regards to the past year, so it's up 17.22% to date. 2 years is up 55%, 5 years it's up 80%, and all time it is up about 99.9%, or about 100%, since just before in 2019. So XEQT does a awesome job at investing in ETFs and stuff like that outside of North America, if you sort of want an international exposure and the entire stock market as a whole. The next Canadian ETF to buy and hold forever, in my opinion, is the RBC Canadian Bank Yield Index ETF, or ticker symbol RBNK. So this ETF actually goes away from international markets as well as the United States market, and it focuses on the big banks in Canada, which is why it is called the RBC Canadian Bank Yield Index ETF. So kind of looking at some more information right here in regards to it. So it's considered to be a medium to high risk stock. So if your risk tolerance is a little bit higher, perhaps RBNK or RBank could be for you. The MER is a little bit higher as well, 0.32%. So perhaps if you wanted to do this in a more cost efficient way, you can find these holdings out and invest in these stocks individually. As I mentioned before, these are bank stocks, but this is just an ETF that sort of collects all of them, and compared to picking them out individually. Unlike the other stocks as well, this offers a monthly income distribution. So that's obviously, pretty awesome in regards to just having that steady monthly income on a regular basis. Distribution yield as well is about 3.85% at the time of this recording. So if we were to go ahead here and just keep scrolling through, we can check out the holdings here. So as I mentioned before, it holds the big 6 Canadian banks: Bank of Nova Scotia or Scotiabank, Bank of Montreal or BMO, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, TD Bank, Royal Bank, and the National Bank of Canada. And it does have their assets in regards to how much it holds of each here on the right hand side. So primarily it's about 50% Bank of Nova Scotia and BMO, and the other 50% is made up of these other 4 banks. So overall, pretty simple ETF here, just holds kind of the big 6 banks in Canada for you guys to invest in one ETF. So just looking at the distribution calendar so far in 2025 to provide more of an example, it does offer a monthly distribution. So as you can tell, for January, February, March, etc., it typically pays out towards the end of the month, as well as how much per share that it offers. So if you guys are looking to invest in the Canadian banking system, but you want to invest in all the banks at once, perhaps holding RBNK or RBank for now and the foreseeable future, offers growth with the share price over time, as well as a monthly dividend, which you can drip and reinvest invest into your portfolio and have even more growth over time if that interests you guys. The next Canadian ETF to buy and hold forever, in my opinion, is the iShares S&P 500 / TSX 60 Index ETF, ticker symbol XIU. So this ETF is sort of similar to the last one, RBNK, but this time it elaborates on just more than the banking system. It actually invests in a lot of the top companies in Canada, and this is strictly a Canadian markets ETF. So some information right here, as you guys can tell. We'll just scroll down to some of the key facts right here and the portfolio characteristics. So there actually is a distribution frequency here of quarterly. So it offers quarterly dividends, which is always nice. It has a distribution yield as well of 2.47%. This is because the banking system in Canada is a strong part of the economy and the stock market. So that's why this, compared to VFV, for example, which is primarily other sectors, is a little bit higher in regards to the distribution yield. So it's kind of a nice balance for you guys to get some more exposure into the Canadian system, as well as offering a higher distribution yield on a quarterly basis. Now, in regards to fees, there is an MER of 0.18%, so fairly standard in regards to other ETFs. The risk indicator here, as you guys can tell, is medium risk. Now, in regards to the top 10 holdings, as you guys can tell, it's heavy with banking and just some typical Canadian staples. There's the Royal Bank of Canada, Shopify, TD Bank, Enbridge, Brookfield, Bank of Montreal, Bank of Nova Scotia, etc. So pretty heavy in the banking weighting right here, which is why the as I mentioned before, the distributions is quite high. In regards to all holdings right here, I can go through them all quick. If you guys want to stop the video, feel free. But this kind of shows all the Canadian companies as well as the sectors. So here in Canada, it's a lot of banking, utilities, and energy. Those are kind of the staples of the Canadian stock market. So that's kind of the overall, makeup of this ETF here. So this gives you guys a nice kind of intro into the Canadian market in regards to investing into Canada, especially as a Canadian. That's always nice to kind of have some investments locally. So yeah, pretty good overall in regards to this ETF, where you can, if you believe in the Canadian economy long term, you can buy it, hold it, get some appreciation on the stock price, as well as, and as you guys can tell here, financials, primarily energy, etc. So we'll keep scrolling down to see if I can come up with some other stuff right here. I can't seem to find it off the top of my head in regards to performance, but I'll touch on that in just a little bit. So as mentioned, yeah, quarterly dividends about 2.53% if we go to the dividend chart right here. As you guys can tell, the dividends for the most part have increased pretty much every year, it seems like, since 2015. That's always good to see. In regards to the price chart, as you guys can tell, year to date, it is up about 21.4%. In the last 2 years, it's up about 57%. Last 5 years, about 83.28%. And all time, it's up about 132% since its inception in the year 2016. So if you wanted to invest into Canada, but don't want to pick stocks individually, this is a tremendous ETF for that in regards to the outlook of Canada. So those were 5 Canadian ETFs to buy and hold forever, in my personal opinion. These ETFs give you some exposure to the US markets, the Canadian market, Canadian banks specifically, if you want to double down in that regard and have monthly dividends, as well as the international market and the entire global market with XEQT. Make sure you guys have a tremendous rest of your day and leave your thoughts down below. What ETFs do you guys invest in for the long term? Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.